Okay guys, well most people watching this will be passionate about their health and fitness, but might think it's impossible to turn that passion into your profession. Well, I can tell you firsthand it's not. And recently we caught up with a former world champion who's living proof that all it takes is a dream and a lot of hard work.
I think my career started back in the early 90s, and a few friends started going to the gym, and back then I was like, the gym, you know, I don't want to go to the gym. Yeah, and after a while I started to add some muscle, and a few people said you should compete. And you know, back then I was eating McDonald's and hot dogs, and they said, oh, you have to eat properly. And I'm like, oh, really? So once I changed my food and started taking some supplements, yeah, I grew quite rapidly and entered my first competition in '93. And yeah, I think that inspired me to go, wow, if I can train after 2 years and win a local comp, you know, what else can I achieve? And in '94, '95, I competed in the IFBB Mr Australias, placed second and third, I think, consecutively. And I kept training, and then by '97, I'd put on quite a fair bit of size. I think I was sort of about 95, 98 kilo in the off season. I'm only 5'7", so around that time I entered to the NABO Federation, and I was successful in winning the Mr Australia overall. And they sent me to Greece, the first time I was ever on an aeroplane, and I was fortunate enough to win the Mr World title. From then I went on to compete in the Mr Universe, and then around 2000 I had a few years off of a shoulder injury. I made a brief comeback to the sport, and I had a 4-year layoff, retired, and then in 2004 the NABO World Titles was here on the Gold Coast. And I thought, well, I was only about 7 months out from the comp. I really wasn't training. I probably look like this. So I thought, I wonder if I could come back in 7-8 months and actually be competitive. So I made the decision to start training again, heavily, and I was fortunate enough to win the overall Mr Australia again and become third in the Mr World. And after that, I stepped off stage, and I knew that was my last time on stage. I loved the sport, and it was my time back then, but I moved on to other things. I basically thought, well, if I can put the same effort I did in bodybuilding into a business that I can run myself, then yeah, maybe that'll work. Yeah, I had the concept, the idea of, hey, let's open up a supplement store because I use supplements. I'm obviously a former world champion bodybuilder. Maybe I can teach and encourage other kids and people who want to train, you know, how to train and how to use supplements at the same time. Supplements weren't very big. There was no supplement stores around that weren't introduced then. There was health food stores that supplied some brands. Some of those brands are still around today, like Max's. And yeah, over the past 20 years, there's been a big change in the way that people perceive supplements. Not just bodybuilders are using, but all athletes and just mainstream people. And look, yeah, it was very difficult in the beginning, starting from scratch. And yeah, it was very daunting at the time. But I persevered, and I had a desire from the bodybuilding days to achieve. So I kept going at it. One store become 2, become 5. We're fortunate enough to have 17 stores today and a great online business. I think the name Nutrition Warehouse conjures up many images of, you know, of big brands, you know, warehouse prices, and I think I've made the right choice. But there's been a lot of work in between those 6 years to get where we are today. It's not easy running an own company, so you want to make sure that when you get out of bed every morning, you're excited to go to work and do that 24 hours a day if you have to get the job done. So I think for people trying to start out in any business, that they need to ensure that they are passionate about and they understand what they're doing. If you're not passionate about something, it's really not going to work long term. It's like bodybuilding. If you're not going to go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, eat 6, 7 meals a day, take your supplements, if you can't do that long term, then why do it at all? It wasn't that many years ago that I was the salesperson, packing the web orders, being the bookkeeper, being my own accountant, doing it all myself. And then I realised that if I'm going to grow into a big company, I have to share the responsibilities and delegate to other people and trust other people to come on board and have the passion that I do about the company. So that's probably the strongest lesson I've learned, is that unlike bodybuilding, you can't do it by yourself in a company. Yeah, obviously I'm proud of winning a world champion title. I think that something I never thought I was capable of, and to have that in the record books for my life is something I go, wow, you know. Yeah, and just building a world-class company, I think. Something I can look at and drive past and go, hey, that's me, you know. But yeah, that's what I think makes me happy, yeah.
The greatest anabolic supplement has been created by Alpha Pro Nutrition, a 3-in-1 formula that increases natural testosterone for building extreme muscle mass, decreases water-retaining estrogen, and stimulates nitric oxide production for massive pumps. Start maximizing your workouts with Greatest by Alpha Pro Nutrition. Greatness expected.